Hello my friends, I'm Christopher. Welcome to the garden. I'm in the process of replacing my wooden raised beds with these beautiful VEGO metal raised beds. They're 17 inches. I'm going from 8 inches to 17. It's going to be a game changer for me. And anyways, I'm in the process of filling them, so I thought I'd bring you along and talk all about that. If at any point you're thinking that you want to get yourself one of these raised beds, do check out the affiliate link down below. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm not sponsored by VEGO, but I do participate in their affiliate marketing. It doesn't cost you any extra, but I do get some credit to buy more cool gardening stuff to talk about. So let's dive right into how we fill this bad boy. Well, hello my friends, and welcome to the garden. I'm in the process of installing raised beds, replacing my wooden beds with these 17-inch metal raised beds from VEGO Gardens. And I thought, well, this is a good opportunity to talk about what I'm filling them with, because this is a lot of volume. And if you have to buy the soil, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But the thing is, odds are you don't have to buy all of the soil. You can use the things around you. And that's what we're going to talk about today, starting with the base. Before you even get to filling, it's important to determine whether you want to put a layer down underneath your bed. Are you starting on top of a patch of grass, for example? Do you want to kill the grass underneath? If that's the case, you could put down cardboard underneath to kill what's underneath it, grass, weeds, and it'll naturally decompose underneath the things that you're filling it with. Or are you living in an area that has gophers or other varmints that are going to crawl through your soil and eat the roots of your vegetables? If that's the case, maybe you want to lay down a layer of chicken wire underneath to discourage them from getting in but letting the worms go through. In my case, I don't have any of that situation. These are going where raised beds already were. I have nice dense clay soil in the ground. I don't have burrowing critters that I need to worry about, and I also don't have weeds. So I'm going to go right into the next step, which is the big filler. If you've come this far in your gardening journey to the point where you're filling raised beds, I bet you've come across the term of Hügelkultur, the German for a hill culture. It's a method whereby you stack progressively smaller items on the bottom going up and then end with soil. And what that does is it creates a nice opportunity for a microbiome to develop and for roots to wrap around and for moisture retention in the long run. And also, it takes up space at the bottom, so you're not filling this with nice topsoil right to the ground. Here I have what was once a piece of driftwood, and I had this at the bottom of my last raised bed that I just dug up for the last 10 years. And you can see it's decomposed nicely. I'm going to put this right across the bottom, being careful of these cross braces. It's going to go smack dab in the middle so I know where it is. I'm going to follow up by adding some logs that I've cut down in the back that are starting to decompose, and then get smaller and smaller. But this is the big fill. I do a full row of it. Here we are in my backyard. In fact, where you're positioned right now is my fire pit. And I live on a property that has about 0.4 acres with a lot of trees. So in the fall, I collected all of the brush, dead limbs and things, cut them into manageable pieces. I want to show you the big pile behind me is ash that I had felled about 3 years ago and split up for firewood, locally sourced. I can sacrifice a wheelbarrow per bed without feeling too bad about myself just because I won't be able to burn it. It's the perfect big material base. After that comes the small materials. Now these are going to be sticks. In some of my other beds I had raspberry canes, Jerusalem, artichoke canes, things that were last year's growth that you usually chop up and either get rid of or chop up real fine and add to your compost. This is going to be in long pieces added right on top of those logs. You can see a bit here, the way I have it in frame. The layer of the big stuff is in the bottom. Next up, we're adding sticks. This is what we picked up in the back. I've seen plenty of different Hügelkultur videos. Some people like real long sticks. Others like them short. I tend to like mine about a foot, 18 inches at most. A couple of years ago I got one of these tiny chainsaws. Fantastic for odd jobs like this. If you don't want to break it over your leg, go to town like that. So I'll spend the next couple of minutes making these all the appropriate size and filling it up. But before I do, question, what kind of community do you live in? Do you live in an area where they offer a service of brown bagging or picking up a metal bin with refuse like this every year? Do you participate in that? I do not. It's kind of like a way that the city takes from you. And then they turn it into compost and sell it right back. So I just bypass the middleman, saving my things and either chip them or use them for projects like this. It's all that little way that you can rewire your brain of thinking about the environment, the whole holistic system of the garden, right? We don't need to buy everything. We don't need to buy compost or soil or filler. We can use what we have and let it degrade naturally. Well, now that we've got our big fill and our small fill, it's time for the part that everybody thinks of, soil. So for me, you can see I'm working on my old raised bed. You might be thinking, oh, that's cheating. He already had soil and stuff there. Where'd it come from? It came from all around me. My first raised beds were made from the soil where I'm standing. The path that I'm walking on, that's all wood chips. And so what I would do is I would have my wooden beds and I would dig in between the rows, add that soil in to break down. And then I filled in the big gaps with wood chips, which are locally sourced and free at my municipal dump. So, yes, in this case, I'm reusing the soil, which as you can see is nice and soft and breaking apart. And it's only 44 degrees here today in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Today is our average last frost date. It's been a little cool. We had a nice long spring, which I'm happy about. But despite the coolness, this soil is nice and loose and beautiful. That's one of the benefits of raised bed gardening, is you can really control the soil for what you're trying to grow. This soil over the years has been amended with compost, peat moss, perlite, and sand. Depending on the bed, I would grow certain things. The beds that I knew I was going to be growing root vegetables, growing my carrots and beets in, I made sure it was extra loose so those roots could grow down deep. And that's what I'll do again after we get this row in. But we'll come to that in just a second. In the meantime, I need to transfer some soil. Well, the soil's all in, and now I get to be like a witch on Halloween and stir it all up. You might think it's too much soil, or I filled it too high. And in a way, I have. That's because this soil, as the summer goes on, and especially over winter, is going to go down, drain, fill in all of those small spaces between the sticks, between the logs, and it's going to compact. So the first year you fill up raised beds, you fill them as high as you can, because this is going to compact 2 or 3 inches. I ain't kidding. And that is a lot. But we'll cross that bridge next year with a different video. While I'm doing this, let me say that if it sounds like I'm dogging on people who are just buying their soil instead of using what they've got, that's not necessarily how I feel. Right? What if you were 65 and you're getting some high raised beds because you've got arthritis and back problems? You're not about to dig into the ground and fill it up like this. You've probably got the discretionary income to fill it. More power to you. It gets you out in the garden, and that's excellent. Really, if you're taking advantage of these raised beds in any way, I commend you. But if you want to save some money, this is a way to do it. Here, look at that. Beautiful. Look at that nice soil. It's lovely already. We're nearly there. The final step that you need to do when preparing a new raised bed is to amend the density and nutrient content of your growing medium. Now this is going to vary depending on what you've already put in up to this point and where you're growing and what you want to grow. So let me just tell you what I'm going to do. This is a 4x6 bed the way I've got it configured. I'm going to add 2 cubic feet of perlite That's going to be used for drainage and to help keep the soil from clumping up real wet. And I'm also going to add 1 to 2 cubic feet of sphagnum peat moss. Add that to the top and I'll be mixing it in real deep, about 6 to 8 inches deep. Usually when you have a raised bed, you don't want to be mixing the soil, you want that microbiota underneath to develop, but this is the first year, so it's okay to still till and mix things. Once I've got those layers added, I will add 1 simple layer of compost from my compost bin in the back to the top for nutrients, and then it's ready to plant. Congratulations, we did it! The cost for me for filling this today has been $0, using the materials that I have on hand that Mother Nature has provided, that I've cut down from a tree, pulled up from the earth, and put in one good spot. After this, getting the perlite and the peat moss, this bed will probably cost an extra $30 to $40, and that is quite doable. So, are you building some new raised beds, adding to yours? How does your mixture differ from mine? Were you surprised by anything? Do you think that I could be doing things differently? I've been growing in raised beds for the last 10 years, and I can tell you that here in this clay soil in USDA Cold Hardiness Zone 5B, this works really well for me. But let me know what you're doing in the comments below. And again, if you are interested in getting in one of these raised beds, do use the affiliate link from VEGO in the comments down below. That really helps me, and it doesn't cost you anything else. I can get more credits to buy cool gardening things. So thanks a lot for watching, and until the next video, happy growing. Bye guys.